Welcome to the Artificial Fluency Podcast. I'm John.
And I'm Emma.
So you sent us some really interesting audio and video clips. We're going to do a deep dive today, try and pull out the best practical advice for boosting your English speaking and listening.
Exactly. Think of it as, well, finding those key insights, the practical stuff you can actually use from all these different sources we looked at.
Right. We've got instructional audio, real-life stories about language practice, even bits from other podcasts on communication. Kind of a mix.
Yeah, the mission is really to explore all that and just grab those useful nuggets for anyone who wants to get up to speed quickly, maybe have a few aha moments without feeling totally overwhelmed.
Okay, perfect. So where should we start? Maybe with the storytelling aspect.
Yeah, let's do that. It came up quite a bit, how stories make English feel, well, more interesting, more natural.
Definitely. What struck me was the advice about thinking about your listeners' feelings, using simple words,
And describing what you actually saw or heard or felt, that sensory detail.
It moves it beyond just facts, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's about sharing an experience.
Totally. It makes it much more engaging. Like that story of Rachel, the baker.
Oh, yeah. I like that one. Started small, local market, had tough days, right?
Mm-hmm.
No customers sometimes, even complaints.
But she kept at it. Listened to the feedback, changed things up.
And now she's got this successful bakery, teaches classes even. It's quite the journey.
And it really parallels language learning, You'll have good days, bad days, times it feels slow.
Yeah, mistakes happen, setbacks.
Exactly. But her story, it just highlights that need for perseverance, for actually paying attention to feedback, whether it's like formal feedback or just noticing your own mistakes and being willing to adapt.
That adaptability is key.
Yeah.
And the sources also talked about noticing story structure.
Right. The beginning, how it sets things up, the transitions, the descriptive bits.
It made me think, about encouraging you, the listener, to try telling your own stories in English.
That's a great idea. Like your first day at work or a time you help someone.
Or learn something new. Just taking that simple memory and trying to structure it, put it into English.
You engage with the language on a much deeper level then, I think. It's not just abstract rules. It's using English for your stuff. Your life.
We also heard that story about Daniel on the bus, helping the older man who was lost and wet.
Oh, that was lovely. Just offering directions, speaking calmly, giving up his seat. Very simple language.
But really effective.
Yeah.
And kind.
Yeah, and what's interesting is how these everyday moments, these small acts, they teach us so much. About life, yes, but also about natural English. Calm, clear, simple words.
It makes you reflect on your own day, doesn't it? Those small, maybe meaningful interactions you have?
Definitely. And the idea is maybe try writing about one of those moments. What happened? How did you feel? Use simple English.
It helps lock in that everyday vocabulary, I suppose. Routines, feelings, interactions.
Finding the significance in the ordinary and using English to express it.
Then there was Emily, the nurse, communicating with the worried mother who didn't speak much English.
Right. She handled that so well. Calm, clear explanations. Even wrote things down. Made the mother feel safe.
Even with the language barrier. It really shows communication is more than just fluency, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's about building trust, making people feel understood, feel safe. That human element is crucial.
It makes you think about times maybe you helped someone understand something, or when someone helped you.
Reflecting on those moments. What worked? Why did it work? That's valuable insight.
We also heard about Richard the builder. Lost his factory job, but then learned construction skills, found a new path.
Yeah, resilience there. And embracing new learning. Plus, again, that theme of clear, kind communication coming through.
Don't give up easily. That was a key lesson.
And how you interact with people matters. Always.
And Anna in the grocery store. How she consciously slowed down, used simpler words for a non-native speaker.
That's great awareness. Adapting to your audience, it makes such a difference for understanding.
Small adjustments, big impact.
Exactly. It's not about fancy words. It's about clarity, kindness, making sure the other person gets it and feels comfortable. That's effective communication.
We've all been there, trying to explain something and needing to simplify. That's practice too.
It makes you more aware of your own habits, how to be more accessible.
We also had James, the delivery driver, staying calm with a flat tire, no signal.
Right. Problem solving. And his ability to talk easily with different customers using simple language, that's a useful skill.
And George the mechanic. His passion for cars from a young age, always learning.
That lifelong learning, driven by interest, Applies to languages too, I think.
Then William, another delivery driver, asking politely for help to find the right address.
Shows it's okay to ask. Don't be afraid. Simple, polite phrases work wonders.
And Emma, the baker, friendly, helpful, making customers feel welcome.
Building that trust through warmth and simple, kind questions, it works.
John and Robert, the construction guys, solving a problem through teamwork.
Yeah. Avoiding blame, focusing on collaboration.
Yeah.
Using phrases for teamwork.
Paul and Rachel at home, sharing chores, using those simple, everyday English phrases.
Good reminder to practice at home, right, in those daily moments.
Adam, the fruit shop owner, polite words, positive attitude leading to success, even with simple English.
Politeness and positivity go a long, long way.
And we had quick mentions of Linda and Mark fixing things at home, Daniel helping in a clothes shop, Helen at the grocery store.
Robert and Emily in the garden, Claire needing a delivery, electricians troubleshooting.
Bakers making small talk, nurses with patients, families planning dinner, colleagues helping out.
Neighbors chatting, shopkeepers assisting, friends helping move things, community kindness. I mean, the list goes on.
It really does. And all these stories from so many different people and situations, they just drive home that English learning happens in life.
Yeah, it's tied to real interactions, everyday communication skills. And notice the structure. Again, beginning, events, resolution. Understanding that helps you understand and tell stories.
Every conversation is a chance to practice, basically. You don't need a formal lesson all the time.
Okay, so let's switch gears a bit. Let's talk mindset, confidence. This came up quite strongly, too.
Oh, yeah. Feeling stuck in your head when you try to speak? I think we can all relate to that feeling.
Definitely. And it often comes from, that fear of mistakes, fear of not sounding right.
But the message was really about shifting how you view the whole process. Your attitude, your beliefs about learning English. That's the mindset part.
A positive mindset, one focused on growth, it can be, incredibly powerful.
Like that story about Daniel, the friend who is just fearless about speaking.
Uh-huh. Not worried about grammar perfection.
Right. He just saw mistakes as like part of learning, and apparently he got fluent way faster because of it.
It shows that attitude, that willingness to just try. It gives you such an edge. You practice more, you improve faster. Simple as that.
And Sarah, the colleague who was self-conscious about her accent.
Yeah, until someone pointed out her message was clear and the accent was just part of her.
That shift helped her confidence hugely. Focus on the message, not the accent.
It's about self-acceptance, too. Your accent is you. What matters is being understood.
I also like the story of John, the friend who actively sought out conversations as a practice.
Yeah, turning it from something to avoid into an opportunity. That's proactive.
He started enjoying it, and his confidence just grew and grew.
It shows the power of deliberately creating those chances to speak. You build skills and confidence.
And those practical ideas, like even just ordering coffee at a bakery, seeing that as a small practice moment.
Those everyday, low-stakes situations are brilliant for that. No pressure, just a chance to try out your English. Little wins.
Turning routine things into mini lessons. And the importance of knowing why you're learning, your personal goals.
Absolutely. Having that why for work, travel, family, just personal growth. That's your fuel. It keeps you going when it gets tough.
And finding ways to practice everywhere at home, at the shops.
Just integrating it makes it feel less like a chore and more just part of your life. Consistent practice is key.
I love that plant analogy too. Practice is like watering the plant.
And mistakes. They're not failures. They're just growing points, learning moments.
Exactly. So the big takeaway seems to be celebrate the small victories, trust the process. It takes time.
Yeah, acknowledge your progress, believe you can learn. That's huge for sticking with it long term.
Okay, so moving on to connecting with others. The sources really hammered home that good communication isn't just fancy words or perfect fluency.
No, it's much more about making the other person feel, understood and safe.
That's fundamental, isn't it, in any language? Building connection, making people feel valued.
We heard about Daniel, again, the one who wasn't afraid of mistakes. His focus was on clear explanation, really listening.
And that built trust, even if his language wasn't always complex.
It just underlines that clarity and empathy. They're way more important than showing off vocabulary. Focus on being understood, on hearing others.
Prioritize connection over complexity. That was stressed quite a bit.
Yeah, in most situations, simple, direct language is best. It helps build that genuine connection.
And the idea of looking at people you know who communicate well.
And asking yourself, what do they do? What techniques make them effective?
You can learn a lot just by observing. Maybe adapt some of those things for your own English.
Like Grace, the nurse, with patients who had limited English. Speaking slowly, simple words, but also that kindness, that patience.
That approach makes such a difference, doesn't it? Especially when there's a language gap, it shows you care.
And David the carpenter, really listening to customers, George the baker's warm greetings, Thomas the librarian making people feel confident.
They all show communication as holistic. It's listening, empathy, the desire to connect, not just the words.
Right. It all comes back to your goal, doesn't it? Improving English to connect better, understand better, be understood better.
Exactly. Enhancing your ability to build those relationships, navigate life more easily.
Now, there was that other perspective we looked at, inspired by Madeline Argy's podcast, about deeper emotions and connection.
Ah, yes, that was interesting. The idea that feelings like jealousy or maybe discomfort when you see others connecting, it might not be about control.
Right. It could actually stem from our own sort of fundamental need for connection.
So the suggestion was to reflect on the underlying need in those moments. What are you actually longing for? Inclusion, feeling valued.
It's a shift, isn't it? From just feeling bad to exploring what's missing for you.
And maybe reframing it,
Yeah.
not as jealousy, but as a kind of bid for connection in your own interactions.
Thinking of it that way as wanting more closeness or understanding might help you communicate your own feelings more constructively.
So identifying the specific need, is it affection, reassurance, just having fun, quality time?
Knowing that helps you ask for what you need more clearly, more directly.
And then noticing how people respond to that communication, that tells you something about their relationship dynamics.
Yeah, healthy relationships usually involve that give and take, that willingness to hear and respond to needs. Open communication is key.
Okay, so wrapping this all up, we've seen how powerful stories can be for making English learning more engaging, more natural sounding.
And we've definitely hit on the importance of mindset being positive, seeing mistakes as learning, and just consistent practice for building confidence.
Plus, the huge value of clear, kind, caring communication. That's really the foundation for connecting with people.
And finally, that little insight that even uncomfortable feelings around connection can point us towards understanding our own needs better and maybe communicating them more effectively.
So here's a final thought for you, the listener. What's one small thing you could do today? Maybe try telling a little story in English.
Or perhaps just take a moment to think about your learning mindset, or how you could express a need for connection a bit more clearly next time.
Taking that one small step, whatever it is, can be a really effective way to keep moving forward.
Absolutely, on your English journey and in your connections with others.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive on the Artificial Fluency Podcast. Remember, every small step you take really does matter.